Hello, I'm Joel. I create games, and today I'm going to be talking about my Guardian Hero Guardian game. And what I want to focus on today is grid-based movement. Because what I want to do is I want to have a combat system in the game when you enter a dungeon. And there will be a sort of grid, and you'll click on part of the grid and it will move your character to that place. So you won't directly move your character, but you'll be able to sort of click and they will move to that point during a turn, right? So what I plan on doing is having a sort of grid area. Basically, when you click, um, that click will raycast out of your mouse from the direction of your camera, and it will hit a plane which will be waiting for your click. So that plane will be around the player and it will basically represent your movement distance. So when you click, it will hit the plane and it will then snap to the nearest sort of point that will represent a position on the grid, right? So instead of moving around arrays, it's a 3D character that moves to specific positions, which will then represent sort of grid positions, right? Um, Hopefully in the future it will also check if that point is occupied by something. But for now I just want to have it so that the player moves to a position on that grid. And there won't be any obstacles or really any dungeon at all. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Um, I'll have to think about rotation as well, because obviously if a character moves to a position, they'll keep looking forward from the direction that they moved from. So I might look at that today as well. However, we'll see. Anyway, let's see what happens, and I'll see you later. Okay, so I've done the movement. It's actually a couple days later. I did the movement the same day as the recording, but then there was like one thing that I had to change, but I didn't get around to it until 2 days later. But that's fine. I'm here now. And yeah, so I've worked on the movement using like a grid-based system, but it's not like a grid on like in like an array. It's a grid with like 3D space movement. Anyway, basically what happens is you've got a character which is green here. I didn't look at rotation like I said I was going to. I said I might, but basically I don't know what you'd look at the moment. So I'm not going to do that. But this is your grid. As you can see, the mouse points here, but the circle there um, is not on the mouse, right? It's snapping to like basically full values on in the world space. So the camera's quite high up, but it would be much lower, and each one would be a grid, right? And these overlap because the character isn't placed on the thing. But if I were to click somewhere, it moves directly to it, and then it's much easier to see. He's on a grid, right? So you might have also noticed that when I move the mouse far away, it goes from green to red. So if I click here, it doesn't move. So that's based on the character's movement. I've added a stat to the character stats called speed, and then I changed the position of that character stats onto this character instead. And speed basically states how far you can go. So this is 30 squares. I think that uh, in D&D, for instance, 30 feet might be your movement, but that means that you can move about 6 squares because each square is about 5 feet. I think I might have the same thing. That's why I went for 30, but I think I might have the same sort of thing. You won't be able to move 30 squares in one go. That seems quite excessive. But you know, you'll be able to move, uh, around this mark, Um, but for now, this is fine. Also, as you can see, there's pathing, right? So if I click here, it'll go there. If I click here, it'll go there. If I click here, well, it's too far away. Even though this is close enough, this is too far away, right? And that's because it's not taking into account just the distance. It's taking into account the movement from this position round here and then here using the navmesh corners thing. Corners array, it takes every corner and then it adds the difference from the corner before. And then if it's too far, it says, oh, can't move, right? So yeah, if I move here, you'll see that I can't go there because this is more than 30 squares, right? I can't go there. Um, Although it does sometimes feel like maybe like this distance is a lot smaller than this distance, and I think I'll try and look at that because it is a little confusing, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17, when this is like 30. So I don't know. Um, that's something I'll look at, but not for now. There must be something going on here. Um, but whatever. Anyway, that's what I've done. I'll look at it another time as well. I'll keep revising it probably. Um, Basically, what I want to do in the future is like have the grid sort of generate like a snake around. Like a square will go here, and then it will sort of recursively place a square next to it, and then next to it. They'll all place squares next to each other, um, and then it will snake out. And then all of those will have like a floor grid, right? Like I can't place on here, so all of the tiles that you can move on will have uh, the right layer, and anything that's placed on it will stop you from moving onto it. Like enemies you won't be able to move on to and stuff like that, right? So, but this is good enough for now. Except for this stuff. I don't know what this is. It's much shorter. Anyway, that's what I've done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you another day.